Greetings, apprentices. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Arlin, and welcome to my second consecutive monthly wrap-up. That's right, I said it. This is my second monthly wrap-up in a row. It's become a recent goal of mine to do monthly wrap-ups every month because normally I don't do them, and it's not because I don't want to, it's because I don't usually read enough books to do them. But lately I have been reading tons of books and I'm super excited to be able to do them. So yeah. Without further ado, let's talk about the books that I read in the month of June. Alright, so the first book I read is super exciting because this was my first ever reread ever. That sounds crazy because I know a lot of people reread. Lately, I have been getting the urge to reread so many books, and I think it's because it's finally been enough time. It's finally been several years since I started reading, and I don't remember a lot of the books that I read a long time ago. This was such an impulse read because I saw it on my shelf and I was thinking about Jane Austen books and I was like, I want to reread that. So the first book that I read this month was Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I remember reading this a few years ago and really liking it. I definitely didn't understand exactly what was going on, exactly what was being said, but even still, I really liked it. And so I was like, okay, I feel like I want to reread this so that I can better understand what's going on and see if I still really like it. And this was literally so much fun. I absolutely love this. I've only read 3 Jane Austen books, but this is definitely one of my favorite. Okay, I can't even say that. I've only read 3. I think I gave this a 4.5 star because of the ending. I was not a huge fan of the ending. I liked like the last sentence, but aside from that, not the biggest fan of it, but obviously it doesn't overwrite everything else that was amazing about this book. I love the humor. There was one line that I almost didn't understand. I almost looked over it. Then I was like, wait, what are they actually saying? And then I reread it and then I was like, that's genius. I don't remember where it was, or else I would definitely share it with you guys. But the point is, Jane Austen is a genius when it comes to subtle humor. I am so happy because I feel like I'm really growing as a reader if I reread a Jane Austen book for fun. I mean, I know a lot of people love Jane Austen, but for me, like a fantasy lover, that's big news. Like, I have genuinely been loving other genres lately, especially literary fiction. I feel like that's a huge sign that I'm growing as a reader, and it's just so exciting to get into other genres. I don't know, I just feel like that's a good thing, to read a literary fiction or whatever this genre is and not be bored. I would definitely recommend reading this. It's so much fun. First time I read this, I had heard that it was a spoof or something of Gothic novels. I didn't really understand exactly what that meant, so I was kind of confused and honestly scared in some of the scenes because I was like, wait, what? Like, is this kind of like a thriller? What's going on? But no, it was just in her imagination. So yeah, I definitely understood this better at this time and I liked it even more. So this was a really good start to the month of June. Okay, the next book that I read, I showed you guys in my summer reading vlog, What Went Wrong Last Summer. I ended up giving this a 3.75. Like I said in the vlog, it was super simple. It was written by a young teenager. It had some cute vibes to it, but there were a good bit of typos and the plot was a little too simple. Ali Marie is currently writing more books, so I'll definitely give another one of her books a shot in the future. But this is a really solid book for, I think she was either 15 or 16 when she wrote it. I love the friendships of the main characters. Honestly, I think my favorite part was the ending. It was so cute and I genuinely felt this like warmness in my heart when I was reading it. It's a mystery summary book. It's clean. I would recommend, especially if you like Ali Marie, who is a fellow YouTuber, then I would definitely recommend checking it out. I think if you're younger, it could definitely be one of your favorite books because it's definitely written in a younger style. So yeah, those are my thoughts on What Went Wrong Last Summer. Guys, the next book that I read this month, and I'm not being dramatic because it was so good, is Nightshade Academy by Mel Torrefranca. I loved everything about this book. It's a YA book without the YA cringy vibe, and I feel like that alone should be enough for you to go buy this book because honestly, even when I'm enjoying a YA book, there's still that like cringiness to it, like the samey aspect that's like in every other YA book. I love the characters and I also love how this book was written. The characters all had so much depth. The main character, Yashi Kanya, had so much internal conflict. I loved him. I'm not even lying. I think he's one of my favorite main characters of all time. It can be so hard to nail down the main character, but I think Mel definitely did that with Yashi. I also really loved the formatting of this book. I think it's so cool, and the cover is so cool. Bugs are dropping from the sky and falling on me, so that's annoying. I love this book so much. I think it was written super well, to be honest with you. If you haven't read this book yet, please go buy this. It is clean. There is some language, but it's nothing too harsh, and the violence is medium, but it's not anything too harsh again, and there's like no romance in here. But yeah, so please read this. I really want the fandom to grow. I think it's a lot better than most of the book talk books nowadays. If it wasn't obvious, this was a 5-star. So yeah, and that brings us to the last book that I read in the month of June. It was a 2.5 star, and said book was Love and Luck by Jen Evans Welch. Now I see why people only talk about Love and Gelato, because genuinely I did not like this book at all. The main characters were, actually no, the characters, all of them I found very annoying. There were rare instances when I was like, okay, I kind of like them, but then they would do something again that made me not like them at all. I did like how this was very focused on the siblings relationship instead of like a romantic relationship, and I think the author did that pretty well. I am not gonna sugarcoat it. I also didn't really like the plot. Let me just tell you what the plot is real quick. Okay, so if you've read Love and Gelato, I don't know if you remember, but Lena had a friend named Addie, and this book is about her. Basically, Addie is planning to meet up with Lena in Italy until something happens and she ends up going on a road trip with her older brother, who she has been fighting with, and we don't really know why. It's kind of unraveled throughout the book. And also a guy named Roman or Rowan, I don't remember. Let me see. Okay, his name is Rowan. He's kind of the love interest. Whoa, get out of here. I'm not trying to be a hater here. I just don't really have anything good to say, so maybe I should just stop talking about this book. It wasn't like the worst book in the world, which is why it was a 2.5 instead of like a 1, which I am wondering if I'm ever going to rate a book a 1-star. I am curious to see the day that happens, if that ever happens, and what book it will be. But yeah, would not recommend. Maybe you might like it. I feel like some people might like it, but in general, I don't think so. Those are the books that I read in the month of June. It was a pretty good reading month. I read half of the Penderwicks, but I ended up finishing that in July. Actually, ended up finishing it yesterday, last night, so stay tuned. Actually, you already know my thoughts on it because my summer reading vlog already came out, so never mind. Again, read this book, please. Right now, I'm begging you. Literally read it. Again, as always, let me know what books you're currently reading, what books you read in June, all that stuff. I love you, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!